When we think about placing a brand, first and foremost, you need to decide which, if you're doing a ownership brand or holding brand on those cattle, figure out a brand design, go to your county clerk's office and decide if somebody else has that brand within your county. If they do, figure out where they're putting that brand on that animal, which side and then which location that they're putting it on, because you can't put it in the same location as somebody else within your county. Then we think about potential locations for a brand, and the first thing we think about is putting them at the extremities. A common location would be on the top of the hip, or here in the round is another common location. Oftentimes we saw a lot of brands, and we still see some brands placed right in the center of the rib. And from a beef quality assurance standpoint, we try to avoid this region, and it has nothing to do with the meat under it. Branding's not going to affect meat quality, but what branding does is it affects the hide quality. And hide is an important part of the beef cattle when we go through the processing portion of it. And so if we think about how an animal is processed and how the hide is taken off of an animal, the hide is split down the middle, and then the hide is folded back. And so if we imagine that and we think about the biggest portion of the hide, the biggest area of the hide, it's going to be right in this center of the ribs. And then it folds around to the other side. So if we put a brand right in the middle of the ribs right here, and if we brand an animal when it's young, and as it grows, we've seen some brands that spread out and can be that big. If we use too large of a brand on a young calf at branding and working time, that brand will spread out, and there's brands that are as big as that on these cattle. And what it does is it affects the big portion of the hide, and that affects the leather, and that affects the hide value in that animal. So if we think about good locations, in this area, as close to the tail is a good location, because that's going to be kind of on the extremity of the hide. Even down here, another common location is right here in the round, into the forearm. You can see on this calf, they branded it into the shoulder with the Freeze brand. But trying to put those brands on some of the locations at the extremities of the animal and avoiding the center rib cage of that animal helps to improve the value of the hide on that particular calf.